You've got all this extra space now. You don't notice when I just hang out here.
There's a whole other room for you to hide in.
There's a whole second room.
No.
Look at you with 2 rooms.
Maybe next time you can work on the backdrop.
Did you not like this blank beige wall that I've created for you?
No.
I call it Snowstorm in the Yukon. Some sort of polar bear seal joke, something there.
Blubber?
I wasn't going for blubber. I was going more for like pushing you out on an ice floe kind of deal, but it's too early in the episode to be mean.
Well, I think
there's a lot of judging.
I beg to differ. I think you were pretty mean out of the gate.
Oh, I've been meaner.
You are meaner.
Yeah.
Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 9, Episode 7. And of course, as always, I am joined by my illegitimate drag daughter, Wilhelmina Box Farts. How are you, Wilhelmina?
I'm super Wilma. I feel like I was just here.
I feel like you haven't left. Well, we kicked this episode off in the workroom post-snippage. And although everyone was very happy for Angie, it was short-lived because in came Roxy. She had a gob on her.
A gob on her.
And although she said she was good 5 times, I'm good. It was clearly she was not.
And she wasn't here for the dramatics. I'm like, really, girl? Really? How do you explain all the drama before you snipped gob making
last week?
5?
Yeah.
What was up with that? You're salty, girl. You're salty.
Like, it's okay if she has drama, but nobody else is allowed.
No one else is allowed.
Yeah, well, somebody who was actually struggling with some issues was Nina. Because Plastique had gone off saying that, well, she's not really that good at anything. She's surprised that she's done as well as she has in anything. And Nina, on the other hand, felt that this roast challenge was hers to win, and she didn't. Like, this was the one she was supposed to excel at, and she didn't even win that. So she was getting down on herself.
Nina.
I would have been more upset with my wardrobe.
So next day in the workroom, Plastique was floating her new badge math and trying to convince the queens that they should block queens who got the same number of badges as them and ignore queens like her who have the most badges. I thought that was...
I'm just going to say, not a lot of those queens are good at math at the best of times, so I think that Plastique was playing the odds and thinking she could confuse 1 or 2 of them into thinking this way. I don't think it worked at all.
Yeah, it might work. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. I just think Plastique's math would have added up better if she didn't have the most badges already.
Well, she's just trying to make sure people aren't looking her way.
Well, then stop being so beautiful.
Stop being so gorgeous.
That's my problem.
Stop it. Staring at the sun.
Thank goodness Rue showed up with this week's mini challenge, and he had the pit crew boys in tow, and the pit crew boys, Bruno and Jesse, brought their huge baskets full of fruit. They had me at baskets.
They had me at fruit. So Rue let them all know that we're going to be playing a fun game of Fruity Patootie, and they had to transfer all the fruits in their basket into an empty basket within 90 seconds.
90 seconds was all they were going to get, and couldn't use their hands.
Couldn't use their hands?
Had to use their between me down there. The power of their thighs.
The power of that. I thought this was Roxy's to lose.
Yes.
I was like, if anyone's got some powerful thighs, Ms. Roxy Andrews is...
It doesn't even have to be powerful. They just meet so completely that I think it's like a hermetic seal to anything that gets caught up in there. Yeah. Speaking of getting caught up in there, Bruno really crowned... I'm surprised anybody dropped the fruit because he was just... He looked like he was packing coke for a long flight. Do you know what I mean? It was just a lot of work.
Georges was lifted right off the ground.
Bruno's rougher than I thought he was.
I know, I liked it.
Some of the queens did well. Some of them surprisingly did not. The one queen that surprised the hell out of me was Nina because I think she gripped the avocado too tightly, and
she made some guacamole. Yeah.
She was wearing white pants. What the hell? I remember when she walked into the workroom, I'm like, why is she wearing white pants? And
that was why.
That was why.
If you're gonna wear white pants, then this is
make some guacamole.
Yeah, make some guacamole. So yeah, she ended up winning the mini challenge at the expense of her lovely white pants and won immunity from snipping
Ooh.
this week. Ooh.
There were a couple of queens that were jealous of that, I'll tell you what. Like Angie and Roxy, I'm just going to say.
How does that fit into your new math, Plastique?
And then it was time for the Maxi Challenge. Ru told them that they would be performing in a short original film called Meeting in the Ladies' Room, which would pull inspiration from classic camp movies like All About Eve, Valley of the Dolls, The Mirror Cracked, Dynasty, which isn't a movie, and Showgirls. Oh, Mommy Dearest. I mean, if it's a movie that made you laugh and clutch your pearls all at the same time, it was in this mix.
The parts were all assigned and had been written specifically for each individual queen.
Which I thought was good.
I thought it was fun. No assigning of parts, and no one had a meltdown. It was just discovering what lay in store for you. The queens also found out they were going to be performing with a big Hollywood star.
Who did you think it was going to be when they said that?
Not RuPaul.
No.
No, RuPaul. Big
Hollywood star.
We've seen AJ and the Queen Girl. You said it was a good actor. I'm never going to be invited.
Oh, you were never being invited.
Never going to be invited. No.
I have to say, I normally enjoy the challenges, the acting challenges where the queens get to act with Ru, because I'm always surprised with how good Ru is. She stays in character. She tends to be very good with the suggestions and
she gives great notes.
Yeah. And this seemed to be no different. All the queens did really well during the rehearsal, and
it was hard to tell how things were going to go. Everyone seemed to be having a really fun time.
Yeah.
George's wig was so stupid. I loved it. Her fresh out of the box was flat on the top wig.
So funny.
Yeah, everyone seemed to be having a really fun time. So I was very excited to see the finished product. I really didn't know who was doing what.
No.
I have to confess, some of the references were a little bit lost on me.
Once you kind of just forgot that there were any influences and just watched what they were presenting, it was fun.
Yeah.
This was the first time I think Chanel wore an outfit during an acting challenge that was appropriate.
Yeah, except I thought it was for Dynasty. I didn't realize it was for, what was she, Mommy Dearest?
Mommy Dearest, that's right,
I was like, those are Dynasty shoulders. But then no one got pushed into a fountain, so I knew it wasn't Dynasty.
You saying it British? You don't say Dynasty?
No, I say Dynasty and I say macrame. Calico, Capsicum, fetch me my macrame. I was a little worried for Roxy because all the clips they showed, she just wouldn't stop laughing.
I like when Angie said, I'm going to try this again, and she walked around the set.
Girl, you can go through that door. That made me laugh so hard. I thought Nina chewed the scenery in the most beautiful way.
way.
Nina was the one who was like, okay, she knows.
When she turned around and looked at it, I thought this was the ladies' room. Also, in Jiria, when Ru, as she was walking out, Ru said, turn around and give me one of those looks, and she did. So funny.
That made me laugh so hard.
So funny.
Angie's face just makes me laugh.
She's brilliant.
She's got a funny face. A face for comedy.
Well, better than a face for radio.
So next day in the workroom, the queens got ready, and nothing much really happened. Chanel was feeling a little down on herself for not doing a good job.
Well, I think she's just down on herself in general because she hasn't won a badge yet. I don't think she felt she did particularly badly on this compared to other things. I just think she's realizing she's not doing as well as she should be.
Yeah, she's like, we're halfway through it, I don't know a badge. Yeah. Plastique pushed her new math again. And tried to distract people from the fact that she has 3 badges.
Maybe she's learned something from the last administration in America, whereas if you keep saying it, people will start believing it.
Eventually people are like, oh yeah, that's what happened, 100%.
And then it was time for the runway, and I thought Ru looked great.
I thought Ru looked great.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
It wasn't my favorite look of Ru's, but it definitely, she's on a roll.
She's on a roll.
Joining the judges this week was the delicious and far not used enough actor, Colton Hayes.
Colton Hayes.
He's lovely.
He's lovely.
Is he still on a show at all?
I don't know. Last thing I think he was on that I paid attention to was Arrow, maybe?
Oh.
I don't know, he's lovely. Very nice and blandly handsome.
Yes. He was so funny in Girl Trip with Scarlett Johansson.
So funny.
So funny.
Maybe that's the last thing I saw.
That could be it. And he was wearing a thong, so if you're going to see him, that's the show to
I
see.
might remember the thong.
No?
No, I'm surprised. You'd think I would remember him in a thong.
Yeah.
Huh.
You wouldn't forget it.
I wouldn't forget it. I'm going to go home and watch that.
And then it was time for the runway. Category is Widow Weep for me. Well, I wept for Nina because I liked what she wore at the beginning, that black cover-up. Like, that looked very widow and sad and weepy. And then she whipped it off to show this, like, lavender lacy thing. And I get what she was going for, but she missed the mark. And I just really didn't like this outfit. I'm giving her a Fingerdoo again.
You didn't like this Disney Haunted Mansion kind of deal?
No.
God Mickey face?
No.
No?
No, I didn't even like the makeup. I was just, oh, come on.
I thought this was nice for Nina. Like, I did not understand the colors of... Like, is that...
No, it's like
Did
she
they
went...
used to wear lavender at those wedding dresses? At weddings, or was that just like the lighting? I was very confused.
Yeah, it's like she was going for white, but that's all they had, or it was on sale. I don't know, but...
Or she gave herself a blue rinse or something.
Yeah, I just didn't like this look. It just did nothing for me.
Fingerdoo.
Yeah. Next down the runway, Roxy Andrews looking spectacular.
Stunning.
This dress was great. The only thing I have to say is I'm sorry that the blood splatter neckline was sewn onto the dress. I would have much rather have seen that as a necklace so she could remove it and wear the dress on its own.
Well, I liked it because I liked that the blood spatter went up to her chin,
Yeah.
and she had a nice sparkly bloody axe that she was carrying around. She clearly did not waste any time murdering her husband after the wedding. It might have happened during the pictures.
Because of the pictures.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You can see those pictures right away. Maybe she didn't like the dinner. Maybe she didn't like the dancing. I don't know.
But she was cinched within an inch of her life, and she looked fantastic.
She looked great. She was
Fingerdoo for Roxy, clearly.
Poured into that dress. Like a big glass of bloody milk. From a cow with mastitis. Next down the runway, Angeria Paris Van Michaels in a purple spider motif. What would you call this? I don't know what things are called.
There was kind of like a Spanish mantilla feel because of the way the web was behind her head. And apparently the hairdo was an urn with ashes in it.
I didn't get that till
I
they put
didn't
it
get that either. No,
but
but I didn't hate this outfit. I mean,
I didn't hate it. It felt a little arts and
it was very costumey.
Like it didn't. It felt like something Nina would have worn.
Yeah,
weird.
I still feel somehow or another Angie pulled it off better.
She
I don't
sold
know.
it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give her a Fingerdoo, even though it was a little costumey. Plastique was looking incredible in a fabulous, another custom wig. That wig was gorgeous, and this hand-painted traditional outfit was gorgeous as well. But
Vietnamese fancy outfit for
but what
any
it had to
fancy
do with
occasion.
the widow had not. I had no idea. This is another one of her outfits where I feel she just wore it because it looked good, and who's complaining? No one's complaining.
Good. She did have some nice blue sparkly tears going down her face.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Yeah, it didn't really fit the brief, and I didn't really care because she looks so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's almost like she gets a pass for the runway. Did you hear she spent $250,000 on her wardrobe?
I'm not surprised.
No, you see every penny of it on there. Good for her.
Too bad she didn't donate some of that money to her charity because she's not
saved
winning any money for them.
She could have saved herself the trouble. Yeah.
It's like, sorry, charity. Here's everything I wore. Feel free to auction it off because I didn't win you any money.
They'd make more money.
I got a lot of badges, but not a lot of money.
Chanel was next, and she had a big black cover up with a hood, and it put me in mind right away of the evil witch in Snow White.
And that's very much on brand for Chanel. She loves to go for like evil queen.
Yeah,
kind
Disney.
Camping it up, weeping. I was into what she was throwing down.
And then she whipped off the cover up, and she was wearing a Marie Antoinette dress. Now I'm just going to say it was stunning.
Stunning.
But why was she wearing that? And also, even Ruth said it. There's been a lot of Marie Antoinettes walking down that runway over the years, and it just threw me. I was expecting her to look more like a Disney queen than,
than a French aristocrat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she looked good in it. I
Yeah.
thought it was oddly restrained for
Oh yeah, I'm
such
totally
an
giving
over-the-top
her.
outfit, but like very restrained for Chanel.
Totally
Again.
giving her a Fingerdoo, but yeah, it was a surprise.
Yeah, the only thing that seemed to really fit the brief was her initial cover-up and her weeping.
Yeah.
But yeah, she threw it off and she was living her best Marie
French
Antoinette
Revolutionary life.
life. Yeah. Eating some cake and not knowing she was going to have her head chopped off in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Next down the runway, pint-sized widow Georges, weeping
Up a storm.
sparkly tears into her little hanky.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was very cute. She was wearing a pretty simple little black coat, dress kind of thing. She looked good. And then she doffed that into a very sparkly kind of cocktail dress kind of number.
Red number, yeah.
Looked very gorgeous.
Yeah.
Again, didn't really meet the brief, but yeah, that's what Georges would wear to a wedding or a funeral.
I gave her a Fingerdoo. I thought she looked great.
I thought she looked
good.
good.
Yeah, well done. Next, oh God, every time she hits the runway for me, it's just amazing because not only as a makeup artist does she have a great visual sense herself, Gottmik, but she knows some great designers because of some work she's done and is able to call on them. And she had Marco help her with this fabulous ode to like black candles dripping on Chianti bottles and stuff. It was stunning. I didn't realize what it was until she said what it was, and then I could see the structure of it.
That was my problem with it too. I didn't know what I was looking at.
It's hard. It's hard. Black on black on black is hard.
It might have looked better in person, but I didn't know what I was looking at. And if you have to explain your outfit, I take marks off.
Yeah.
I take marks off. But when she explained it, I was like, oh yeah, that's good. All right. Yeah. It just wasn't.
I totally gave her a Fingerdoo because I was just amazed at it. I thought it was a great idea. But yeah, I wish there had been some more detail in it somehow. I don't even know how she would have gotten more detail.
Just something to break it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Bless.
Last but not least, down the runway wearing beaucoup de fur.
Oh my God.
Vanjie.
She looked fantastic.
She looked fantastic.
I don't think she's ever looked more beautiful than this.
And then she whipped that off and she was corseted to the nines in a barely there outfit. She looked good.
Oh my God. She had a gorgeous bomb in that.
Her mug was amazing.
The makeup, the wig, the top knot with the jeweled netting over it. Oh my God. Gorgeous. Fingerdoo for Vanjie. Seriously. And then we watched Meeting in the Ladies' Room, and I have to say I was so disappointed in this.
I thought it was going to be a lot funnier than it ended up being.
They showed all the funniest parts during the filming.
Yeah, and then didn't really include anything new for us to discover.
And the worst of it was how obvious everyone was reading teleprompters. Like they weren't even looking at each other, and they'd read the teleprompter and then look at them to slap them. And yeah,
Georges looked like a lot of fun to slap, and Vanjie's dancing was inadvertently hilarious, and even Nina seemed a little more subdued than I thought.
It wasn't as funny as the actual filming, and even them having that moment at the end where Rue slapped everybody.
Yeah, which I have a feeling Rue just does on set.
I just think that's how they rap for the day. It's quick time, slap.
Slaps all around.
Yeah. Although I think now she probably gets somebody younger and more live to do the slapping, because you're gonna get bursitis or something.
Well, you're gonna get something. Yeah, I don't know if it was a problem of me not getting the references, but when I got the references, it didn't really help with the humor, and I was like, well, maybe the queens didn't get the references, because they did talk in judging about how, well, that's not how I would have done Showgirls, that's not how I would have done this, but it's like, yeah, because they probably, despite their lies to the contrary, I'm sure most of those queens don't have those references in their back pocket and didn't really grow up with them, so they're not really like steeped in them like they are with with Rue and Michelle and all the more mature people on Drag Race. That's all I have to say.
I thought you were going to be a lot more mean. I have to say, I was very impressed that Rue announced that Nina and Angie were the top two. I knew Angie was going to be, but by the way it looked, the final cut, I was worried that Nina wasn't going to make the mix again. But she did.
She did.
And they had to lip sync to one of my favorite songs ever, Tina Marie's Lover Girl. So how do you think this lip sync went?
Well, I was very surprised that for once Nina didn't change.
It's
so
true.
She didn't have a reveal.
Yeah, she didn't. I don't think she was expecting to win this.
She's stuck with her
blue,
her
whatever that
outfit.
was. Yeah.
So Angeria changed into something where she could be a little more flexible. And quite honestly, I was very impressed by Nina. I thought she did a great job.
When she started doing Thriller.
The Thriller moves were great.
Funny.
She had a lot of moves with her face. She really kind of played into what she was already wearing, so she made that all work with the lip sync. And I thought she did a great job.
Yeah.
I thought Angie did a solid job. I was like, okay, we've seen a lot of these moves already. But
Angie seemed to stick more to the dancing aspect of this, whereas last week she had more of that humor.
Yeah.
And this week, Nina seemed to be going with the humor. So I actually thought Nina was going to win this.
I thought she was going to win it as well. I was quite shocked when Ru announced that Angeria was winning yet again.
Yeah. I thought that if anyone could have beat Angeria out of a lip sync, that this would have been one that Nina squeaked out of her, for sure.
Something squeaked out.
Something squeaked out, and it wasn't a win. It was probably more avocado, I'm just going to say.
Although, in spite of not winning, Nina did get a tip of $2,500 because she won immunity against being snipped and then...
And didn't need it. Yeah. So that's good. She got some money for the Trevor Project, and I'm sure that makes her very, very happy. But it came down to Angeria having to snip somebody. Again. I thought for sure that Angie was going to give Plastique the snippers.
I thought it was going to be Plastique or Roxy because the two queens have 3 badges.
That's true. They both have the most.
Yeah.
So they're...
Yeah. So I thought, that's who's going to get it. And then to everyone's surprise, she gave them to Gottmik.
She bought into Plastique's weird math and...
She's doing that new math. She carried the 1 and she gave it to the wrong queen.
Yeah. I was so disappointed that she gave it to Gottmik.
I was confused.
Not that I care.
Yeah.
But it just was like, I think somebody should have been given Plastique a couple of these. Because Plastique's not winning the whole shebang with that lip syncing, but she's definitely going to make top 2 at least one more time because her wardrobe is just killing it.
She's going to keep getting those badges, girl.
Yeah. And there you go. That's episode 7 done and dusted. Do you agree with the judges' choices? Would this have been your top 2? Would you have picked Nina to win the lip sync, or do you think that Angie won it fair and square? I'm not saying that she cheated, but I was surprised she won.
Yeah.
Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and make sure you leave a comment because that is the best way to support the Fingerdoo review. Another way to support it is by leaving a tipper-doo, and you have 2 options for that. You can leave a tipper-doo with the YouTube thanks button located just below this screen, or you can use my OG PayPal link in the description box down below to leave a tipper-doo that way. You can also visit the link to my Redbubble store. We have Wilma merch as well as a fabulous image of Wilhelmina by the talented Lara D'Souza. And I also have a link to my Patreon page where we meet twice a month for our live chats. Well, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having.
And until next week, miss us! Mwah! Seriously. It was
I was confused.
Yeah.
I was confused. I think Ru just doesn't like Nina. There's a lot of weird Nina critiques. Like, Carson was like, in the roast you seem too prepared.
Yeah.
Like, and you're doing too well. You're
not doing well enough. You're doing too well.
Like,
what the hell going on? Yeah.
I'm very confused by
bothersome.
what's going on with Nina.
Yeah. Who do you think's gonna make the top 3?
I think they want it to be Angeria.
Yeah.
And I think they want it to be Gottmik.
Yeah.
But I think...
You don't think Plastique? You think that's...
I don't know. I think if there's more comedy stuff coming down the pipe, then Plastique might have a chance because they're enjoying this new comedy thing.
I hope Chanel wins 1.
I hope Chanel wins
just
one. Just one. Just something.
Bless her heart. Or watch somehow or another. There's enough of these free badge giveaways and blocks during all the other things that Chanel will end up with the most badges, and then she'll win the whole.
Yeah, they'll be like, okay, everyone give one of your badges to Chanel. What? Let me give a badge to the queen that's got the least badges. What? Now she's got 18 badges.
Yeah. How did that happen?
She's gonna hurt her
There were
battle.
only 6 episodes.
Only 6 episodes. So confusing.